All right, I'm back with Tom Peterson. He is absent of Dan Sylvia, but they were here to talk about the truck team.
Yep.
Now you're soloist.
I am soloist, yes. Myself and I.
So tell us a little bit about what this is. I've gotten no background about it, but give me kind of...
So first of all, we're talking about CHS TV. So CHS TV is, first of all, is our high school program of telemedia. So you recently talked with Pete Padula, and you talked about all the great access programming and stuff we do, like such as yourself. But the other side of it is the CHS TV side, which is the high school side. So basically, it's a program I'm involved with since I was hired here in '95. So 23 years of doing service. And basically, the concept of my philosophy is always show all the great things our students can do in the high school. So that could be anything from covering a concert. It could be covering a football game, graduations, anything that's happening, in our school system, and all the great things that happen in our great school system we have here in Chelmsford.
Yeah. So that this truck that he's talking about, right? This is
So it's our production truck, which is basically we're going on our third year of our production truck, and since I've been here, this is actually our third production truck, and basically, it's good. Our program has grown over the years, and basically, as our program's grown, we needed more space. So, when we do a basic, for example, a football game, we do a 5-camera production. We do. We just got a new replay system that basically can do 5 replays at one time. You have an audio person, graphics person, all that stuff in there. So that's one of the main reasons we acquired the new truck. In the industry, we call that OB, for outside broadcast productions. And it's not just used for that. We use it for the 4th of July parade. You might consider actually technically our most complicated event. Do you want to get a guess what our most complicated technical event is for
town meeting?
Town meeting. You are correct, because town meeting, we have to control all those screens inside, and actually changing different screens. Different people are seeing different things. Depending where they are, if they're on the board or if on the big screens, and then we're controlling all the audio in there. So that production truck helps to basically is the main control center for all that and make all that stuff happen for us.
That's really where I think I've seen the truck the most, is when I'm going into town meeting. You got it all set up. You got cables running everywhere.
Oh yeah.
It's really
a complicated setup for town meeting, and usually. The days of Matt Scott, we would go set up at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon for a town meeting at 7. We're now going in, myself plus a freelancer, we're going on Sunday, and we're starting to set up for town meeting for about 5 hours on Sunday, just to get things up and organized to be ready to go. Because obviously, Mr. Curlin is not going to be very happy if we can't start that meeting on time for town meeting, so yeah.
And everybody wants it documented. They want to be able to see what's going on.
Yeah, and that kind of relates back to what you guys and Pete were talking about, is the power of that service we provide is for town meetings for the representatives, but it also gives the ability for the people that can't get to these meetings. The fact that production truck is able to do that. I find that fantastic. For example, you're talking about the 4th of July parade. We get a lot of comments that people love watching the 4th of July parade because they couldn't go. They could have some disabilities or something that prevents them from going. And I think it's a great service to show the fact that, our celebration, our committee and stuff that puts on that parade and organizes it does a fantastic job. And I think it's a great way to highlight the great stuff we have here in town.
Is it necessary, though, to have Dan Sylvia sitting up on the crane, in the middle of the center of town?
He likes it, doesn't like it. But yeah, it's a very, we've done that shot since I was a student here with Matt Scott. Absolutely. I mean, I can go in the technical aspects, the creative aspects of it, but the shots to be able to get over the people and having people wave, and absolutely is a great shot to have. Yes.
Well, I don't know if it means I've been around too long, but I actually think I remember the first truck that the telemedia had. It was like a stripped down police vehicle of some sort. Is that true? Or
so prior to that was a maroon van.
Oh, okay.
So we had with that, and I put too much equipment in there and kind of broke the transmission and kind of broke it. That station wagon, if that's what you're thinking of,
Yeah.
which everyone called me the Ghostbuster-mobile, kind of looks like from the movie The Ghostbusters. We had that for the interim. Actually, Chief Karen let us borrow that during the interim before we got our old truck there, which now the police department has, which they're using. They kept our old truck as a command post for themselves. Yeah.
Now I know you guys have started to do some work over on the old DPW site, right? Is that
So that's actually where we store our trucks. So the old
Okay.
DPW, we renovated a bay in there. Gary Persichetti, director of Highway Department, Public Facilities, the whole group in there, he donated a bay for us to actually store our truck there. And honestly, prior to that, we were storing at Alpha, which is on the other side of town off of 129. And I'm based, and most of us are based either here at Parker or the high school, and then that's like a 20-minute drive, just one way.
Right.
Now we're just literally right next door. It's easy to work on as we add things and change equipment and stuff, and it's a much better situation for there. Plus, it keeps the place being occupied. I mean, they do use that bay a lot. There's been a lot of communication in terms of they thought no one was using it. Highway Department's very active using it, but with us being there and when we're there, it shows that the people are in the space and using it.
Yeah, probably from a safety perspective.
Safety, yeah, exactly.
But it's been all totally renovated at this point.
It has been totally renovated. We had to upgrade all the windows, and it had a little abatement we had to take care of. It's just a basic place for us to do our general maintenance. We do a lot of work for the town. That we got to work and build things. Such, for example, we put up a public camera, which is active on the town website, which is it's actually on the CCA building. And it's a nice overshot of the common, which is actually a really nice one. We're actually working on a second one this week at Hart Pond. So we're actually going to be making very soon a public view of Hart Pond. And a couple other ones I don't want to reveal. I'm trying to do one very special next year that hopefully I can make happen.
What's kind of the idea behind that? I mean, it is a cool concept, but what kind of prompted that? Do you know?
Actually, our town manager. So basically, where our town manager, the town he's from, they have that. But I'm going to tell you right now, though, we were not expecting. We can actually see how many people are seeing it and using it, and the numbers are like. Since the month of October was like over 3,000, 4,000 hits, 3,500 hits, meaning people seeing it. And some people, I think, have been leaving it up for hours. So I think some people are leaving it up for like a wallpaper, like on your screen in your computer, you can just leave it up and as an active screen. So we have some people like streaming for hours with it. So it's actually kind of cool. I think it's kind of neat. But it all stemmed honestly from our town manager.
Well, if you watch it long enough, you can see me driving in and out constantly.
It is a little delayed.
My office is only like a foot around the corner, so.
No, it's kind of cool. It has a great night view. I mean, it's actually the frame rate's slow, so it's a little jumpy in the video, but you can clearly see everything. We had that snowstorm before Thanksgiving. I mean, it was kind of a pretty view in the sea. So.
Yeah, and you can figure out like if the lights are out and traffic's all jammed up,
That's true. That never happens in Chelmsford.
No,
never.
No, but talk to me a little bit about production and what goes on. You're talking about this truck, like let's say the football game, right? A lot of that is editing and things done on the fly, I assume, because you got to.
So there's very little editing except for pregame. Everything's live. So it's there are many different areas of television. My area of television I absolutely love is live production.
Okay.
If you talk about football, there's a great YouTube clip about the producer of Fox Sports who does the actual football games. And he says, you have the players who are obviously on the field, and there's nothing like for those players in the field, and you have the coach. People that do live TV are close third, okay? Jack in the background, who used to work for a TV station, one of your camera ops can totally agree with this, him working in sports production. But the element of doing things live and the element of not knowing exactly what's going to happen. There's no rush and no better feeling of like when your game's going to start, even high school level, for 7 o'clock p.m. game, you have to start.
Right.
And, working with the crew and the fact that I have students directing, that's another area I didn't quite talk about, the fact that with a bigger truck, it gives the ability of students to actually do more positions, including directing, which was kind of hard and limited on our previous truck. But it's really neat to be able to see all these students doing directing, technical directing, which is basically switching which camera's on air. Students doing the graphics, making sure that we have the lower third graphic name of whoever that key player is. Kids doing sound, making sure that the sound's to the right levels. You can hear the announcers. Do you hear the ambience horn? Do you hear all that cheering, all that stuff in there for audio? Replays. I got to see that shot again. We got to get it from multiple angles, and it's super important. So an example, and we actually got a lot of good feedback, was Thanksgiving football. Okay, so this year's Thanksgiving football in particular was absolutely freezing. Okay, I don't know if you stepped outside at all Thanksgiving. But with the wind chill and factor, besides the football team and the cheerleaders for most of the game, we were the only other crew there that was a full game. So we know for YouTube, for live hits, we were around that 140 range, and that's not including for TV, 140 consecutive live views at a time. And you say, well, that's not a lot. And it isn't if you compare it to like major network levels, but for us, that's a high number. And we posted in Chelmsford News afterwards. We basically thanked the crew, and we got a lot of positive comments that get people that watched it on regular TV. But then we also got comments from people that watch it in different parts of the country, like in California. We got some comments from, and there was a couple other places in the country. And that's one thing really neat in terms of how this industry has changed. The fact that it's not just Chelmsford; it's the world. And I always hear a lot from the players and other people, the fact that their grandma or other family members live in other places in the country, they're able to watch a game like this. Or any other productions we do in telemedia, because we put everything up on, just like this show here that people can watch on YouTube, I think is fantastic.
Oh yeah, I get comments all the time. People say, hey, I live in, say the Carolinas now, but I grew up in Chelmsford, and it gives me an opportunity to connect and really reminisce about things.
Absolutely. I mean, there's nothing like that in terms of, I know you were talking about technology with the library. It's an amazing thing in terms of how much technology has changed when I first came here and where we are today.
Yeah, but I think Chelmsford TeleMedia is really where a lot of it is, and a lot of the forefront of technology, because without, broadcasting or doing a lot of these events, people really have no idea what's going on. The thing about the live, so tell me about this, because you're doing a Chelmsford High School game, and obviously at the professional level they've done this for a long, long time. But they go for like a play action pass, right? And it could be a run, could be like a pass down the field. Like, how do you know how to follow it? Like, is it because you've been doing it for so long, or because I assume you get a bunch of volunteers that may not be.
They're all volunteers. So remember, they're all students. So first of all, when you watch a pro NFL game, there are a minimum 15 cameras. And NFL games, they'll have ISO shots of like just the wide receivers. So like camera 12, your job, follow one of the wide receivers, you stay with them at all times. So that's, first of all, that's how they always get those nice tight shots of those great stuff. My case with a 5-camera, 4-camera production, we're a little bit limited with that. And the other big thing that we have that a lot of people don't think of is that our stands are very low. And so if you think about it in a camera perspective, when you're low, you're looking through a play rather than looking high, down, and low in a play. And so fall in the action doesn't fall necessarily from the director. The director will give commands in terms of the ball went to the right and stuff like that. But honestly, it has to come from the camera operator. That's I always tell all the students this, that the most important position of any production is the camera operator. The camera operator, in terms of we provide all the training, we teach all the students how to work it, but it's really for them to anticipate where that ball is going to go. Even at the pro level, a player will do a fake. They'll do a fake thing like this.
Oh yeah.
And then all of a sudden the camera's following them, and that's happened with us. And honestly, I get a lot of feedback in school from the players who say, "Ah, we faked you out, and it's true. But no, our crew and our students are just they're very dedicated, and they're very good at what they do.
Now, do you guys have color commentary and play-by-play action?
We have color card, yep, and Bruce Byam and Howie Neal have been, and Dave is coming this year. Our third person's been kind of on and off, but Bruce and Howie have been doing it. I know Bruce, for example, just had his 300th game this Thanksgiving. That's not just including with us; that's also involved with him. But he's been with me since. 98, 99. So he's been around for a long time. And same thing with Howie. And they're all dedicated, CHS people. Howie, both of them graduated from CHS. Howie graduated, I think, in '67, and I don't remember what Howie did, but they're all, if we had George Simone in here, goes, oh yeah, I graduated such and such a year, because he has every person memorized, knows when you graduated, know when I graduated. Just amazing man, but I'm not that. But yeah, no, they're very awesome. They're dedicated, and the fact that they're the same reason. They love our students. They love the pride we have here in our Chelmsford public school system, and yeah, through their voices, and they're our voices of Chelmsford High School.
Well, I know my Uncle Bernie was watching the game on Thanksgiving, and he called me up. He said, "Oh, what channel is it on?" So
Yeah.
So I was like, "Well, it's either 8 or it's 38." I'm going through the list, right?
Yeah.
The problem is, like, when you have multiple different providers, right? Whether it's Verizon or Comcast,
You got to remember the number.
You got to know which number it is. So I'm like, I'm a Comcast person, so I'm 8,
20,
right?
yeah,
or whatever,
22,
22.
yeah.
I mean, there's a couple of them there, but yeah.
And the other downside of that, and I don't know if Pete talked about the fact that on Comcast or Verizon, they restrict us to broadcast in standard definition. You actually get a significantly much better picture watching on YouTube because it's a full HD widescreen aspect ratio.
Yeah, I think that's part of it is, if you have digital, it doesn't look as good for whatever.
No, because, and then, in terms of how they package the channels, it's very hard to find public access. Because most boxes and stuff will start in the higher numbers in the tiers of the HD, and we're just buried down because they just don't really care.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you,
bad.
I think people use the chelmsfordtv.org, more and more, and I found it to be super easy and convenient to find whatever content I'm looking for.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's great that you guys do that, and I think everybody should appreciate, the level of access that you provide to government. So hopefully, when they talk about funding, people get on the horn and say, make sure they keep it. But that's all we have, my friend. Thank you for coming on.